Good evening, everyone. Time for Mitchell's Childhood Memories, Part 9. As you can see from I'm wearing my favorite t-shirt today. It's a t-shirt celebrating the baseball championship of the Brooklyn Dodgers. 1955, for the first and only time, the Brooklyn Dodgers won the World Series and were champions of baseball. And this meant so much. This was actually the greatest day of my life. Well, that's how I felt at that time. I'm a very big sports fan. I love athletics, and I've rooted for many teams. But if anyone asked me, who is your favorite team of all time, I would say the Brooklyn Dodgers. Then that person might say to me, well, the Brooklyn Dodgers haven't existed for 63 years. How could you root for them? And I'll just say the truth. The Brooklyn Dodgers were my favorite sports team of all time. They still are my favorite sports team of all time, and they will always be my favorite sports team of all time. But how to explain this to people who aren't from Brooklyn or didn't live in the 1950s? Very difficult, but I'll try. The Brooklyn Dodgers had a very, very special relationship with the people of Brooklyn. They united Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the 1950s was an immigrant city, an immigrant borough of Brooklyn, a borough of New York, made up of different groups like Jewish, Italian, Irish, Black, Hispanic, Polish, Scandinavian. But we were all united by this baseball team, the Brooklyn Dodgers. They brought us together. And there were a few of these traitorous, treasonous Yankee fans, New York Yankee baseball fans, but I want to include them in that. I would say they united the people of Brooklyn. There was a special relationship between the players and the fans and the people of Brooklyn. It was like those days the players weren't making millions of dollars. Their salaries was a little bit more than what our dads were making at that time. And we related to them. We knew them as individuals, and we had names for them. We knew them. There was Pee Wee, who was Pee Wee Reese, and the Duke Snyder. There was Campy, Roy Campanella. There was Oysk, Carl Erskine. There was the Preacher Rowe. There was Jackie Robinson, the first black player who played Major League Baseball. This team, we were a part of the team, and the team were a part of us. When the team won, we celebrated. When the team lost, we were downcast, but we were always proud of our Dodgers. I remember as a little boy, you always know what the Dodgers were doing. People had radios, and as you walk down the street, what's the score? 2-0 Dodgers. 5 minutes later, 3-0 Dodgers. 5 minutes later, the Dodgers won, 3-1, game over. Everyone knew. Everyone was tuned into the Dodgers. It was very, 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 very special, and very, very special. We were very proud that the first black player, Jackie Robinson, was on our team. There were no blacks were allowed to be in baseball until the Brooklyn Dodgers had the guts to bring Jackie Robinson into baseball. And he was a great player, and he was very adventurous, and we really loved him a lot. But there were very few black players in baseball, even in the 50s. And until I was a little 3-year-old boy, I identified Jackie Robinson as being black. So one time I was on the bus with my mom, and I'm 3 years old, and I see an athletic young black man on the bus, and I call out to everyone, "There's Jackie Robinson, there's Jackie Robinson." Of course it wasn't Jackie Robinson, but I just thought, and my mom was very, very embarrassed, but everyone on the bus laughed. Well, my parents, my mom and dad, were very fanatical Brooklyn Dodger fans, and they indoctrinated me when I was about 2 years old. By 3 years old, they were taking me to legendary Ebbets Field, the home of the Brooklyn Dodgers, and I saw my first baseball game. And I was very confused because the people, at one point, everyone was saying that the score is tied. The score is tied. And I turned to my mom and said, "Mom, I don't understand. They say the score is tied, but I don't see a rope. Where's the rope? How could the score be tied?" Maybe I was a little naive then. By about 4 years old, I knew everything about baseball. I mean, I was so ahead of my times. I knew all the players. I knew all the teams. I knew everything. And It was so amazing going to Ebbets Field and being in that special atmosphere. There's nothing like being at a Brooklyn Dodger game. All the fans were so animated. They were so funny. They were putting on a show. It didn't even matter at the baseball game. The fans, the people were just being themselves and so spontaneous and so funny. And if the umpire made a bad call against our team, then the musicians were there and they would play Three Blind Mice, Three Blind Mice. In other words, saying that the umpire was blind. And that's how the games went. It was like such an electric atmosphere at the Brooklyn Dodgers games. And so that's something that I grew up in. One time, it's very special. My parents took me to a night baseball game. Imagine this. I might have been 5 years old, and my parents we walked through Prospect Park in Brooklyn, and there it was. We came to Ebbets Field, and the lights were all on. And for a little boy of 5 years, it was like I never saw anything so large before. It was fantastic. You know, Ebbets Field was actually a very small stadium, but it didn't matter to me. There was something I was entering paradise when I went in. And you see, the Brooklyn Dodgers were a good baseball team, but they were not the best. They were always second best to our arch rivals, the New York Yankees. We went to the World Series in 1941 and we lost. In 47 we lost. 49, 52, 53 we lost. It's just, but it never dampened our spirits. We still love the Dodgers even more, even for being valiant losers. They were part of our hearts and soul. And then came 1955. Once again, the Dodgers played the Yankees in the World Series. How it works, it's best of 7. Whoever wins 4 games wins. The Yankees won 3, Dodgers won 3. The 7th game was played for the World Championship. And most people, like usual, expected the Yankees to win. But we had a pitcher out there named Johnny Padres, and he held the Yankees, and we scored 2 runs, and we're winning 2-0. And my mom and I are watching the game in our little apartment in Brooklyn, and so excited. My mom is very, very nervous. Then late in the game, the Yankees get 2 runners on first and second, and a very dangerous hitter, Yogi Berra, is up. There's big trouble. My mom couldn't take it. The tension, she just couldn't take it anymore. She ran out of the apartment into the hallway, and she said, "Mitchell, you watch it and tell me what happens." And Yogi Berra's up, and he hits a long fly ball deep down the left field line. It looks like it's going to be a home run, and the Yankees are going to win. And even if it's a double or triple, the Yankees are going to win. It looks hopeless, and then out of nowhere, this beautiful Cuban left fielder for the Brooklyn Dodgers, Sandy Amaros, he comes out of nowhere. He catches the ball, makes a spectacular catch, throws to Pee Wee Reese, who throws to Gil Hodges, double play, and the Dodgers won the World Series. And I called my mom in, and we celebrated. We were the happiest ever. And that night, we went to Tom McCann Shoes on Flatbush Avenue to buy shoes, and there was a big parade. We forgot about the shoes. We went out, hundreds, thousands of people were parading. The cars, open cars and open pickup trucks, and people were celebrating. It was the most spectacular and happiest night of my life. But I wish I could just end on this high note, but I can't, because 3 years later, the greatest tragedy struck. It was like a thunderbolt out of hell. The owner of the Brooklyn Dodgers, out of selfishness and greed, moved the team to Los Angeles. And Brooklyn Dodgers never existed anymore. He just did it because he could make more money. He didn't care about the people. And this was a shock. And it was such a shock that we didn't even understand what happened. It was something so dark and sinister that my parents never talked to me about it. My friends never talked to me about it. It's the most heartbreaking thing that ever happened. And I wrote these words, and the reason I'm wearing my glasses is to read it. Long, long ago I wrote, "My heart was broken. The Dodgers leaving Brooklyn was the one great intrusion of adult greed into my otherwise fun-filled and trouble-free childhood. It foreshadowed that just around the corner was a life of uncertainty and pain which I wasn't prepared to face." I was 9 years old. I still had 3-4 great years of childhood left. But the difference was there was always a shadow hanging over me, that I knew I was about to enter a world which I didn't really want to go into. There was darkness there. And but let's just end on a positive note. Yay, Brooklyn Dodgers. Go Brooklyn Dodgers. The legends, the greatest team ever. Thank you for listening.